Hello and welcome to Snetterton. We're here on the doorstep of the home of Lotus for the classic Team Lotus Festival. It's a busy weekend with Lotus Cup Europe headlining, but we've also got the current Lotus F1 team with 3 drivers and their 2 cars. Jano, it's an amazing weekend here for the Lotus Festival. How does it feel for you being part of one of the greatest historical names in Formula 1?
Well, I was pretty much surprised when I came here this morning. 20,000 people, couldn't believe the passion. It's really around this corner, around the streets, and obviously being here with Lotus, with such a great brand for all motorsport passionate, it's really good. I am enjoying this day, and as much as Heike, I think. And we are having fun. We're eating burger, and we are talking and meeting people, and we are paying tribute to one of the best constructors in the world.
Absolutely. I mean, I noticed you were having the burger actually since you mentioned it. That's not the food of a Formula 1 driver, is it?
Well, it's down to the team. It's their fault. We have nothing else to eat.
They're not looking after you very well then?
At the moment, no. But it's okay. For a special day like this, it's okay.
It's great to see a lot of fans. You know, Lotus coming back to UK and ahead of our next 2 Grand Prix. Obviously, Valencia, Silverstone, important Grand Prix for us. So it's a big event for us. Great to see so many people here.
And of course, being almost on the doorstep of the home of Lotus as well.
Yeah, exactly. You know, we're not far from where the Lotus cars, the classic Lotus cars, are based now, where actually the whole Lotus racing story started. And even from Hingham, where our current base is, it's very near here, and we have a lot of staff here, obviously, and a lot of people involved. So it's great. This
weekend, you're driving some of the historic cars. How do they compare to today's cars?
They feel obviously very different. You know, they can clearly feel and see the different eras. They don't have the same grip and the same power, and they don't perform like the modern Formula 1 car, but they feel good. They really feel comfortable to drive, and I've been driving 3 other cars, 25, the 49 and the 77 I drove, and they feel fantastic. It's a privilege for me to get this kind of experience, because not many people get a chance to feel what the guys years ago felt, so it's great. Lotus's history is such that, you know, I think the 4th most successful team even currently in Formula 1, so it's, you know, we are a very strong history behind our team.
So you got a bit of pressure there to keep that success going.
I put a lot of pressure on myself anyway, so I'm not bothered about that. I'm just very happy about the progress that we made so far. I think we made more progress than I was hoping that we would do by this time of the season, and you know, we're not far from the established teams. You know, we were only 2 tenths behind a Sauber in Montreal in qualifying, and we finished ahead of Renault. So we are making steps forward, and it's important we keep this momentum going. You know, now it's the next 2 or 3 steps is going to be crucial to be able to make that step. You know, we got to work very hard, and that's what we're fully focused.
There are drivers here from all over Europe, and 2 of them have never even been to the UK before. Jose, how are you finding the UK?
It's my first time in a competition here in England. The weather is a bit rainy, but the atmosphere is really great.
Olivier, how are you finding the UK?
The UK is great. I've been living in many different countries, and I have a Belgian team taking care of my car, and I'm living in Spain, and I'm French, so it's quite a lot of nationalities, and UK is a nice country. A little bit about the weather, but apart from that, it's fine, yeah.
And in terms of the racing, is it very different racing over here?
No, not really. It's just that I don't know the track, so it's first time here. But apart from that, the race ambience and everything is fine. Yeah.
You're enjoying it?
Yeah, sure. It's a great time, yeah.
Earlier this year, the Sun ran a competition to win a day's racing in this car, which is number 2 car, a very famous car, and Matt Johnson is our winner. Matt, competition winner, and now your first race. How are you feeling?
Never raced, only track experiences, track day, and some tuition from the Lotus on Track guys.
So basically just a few hours on track up until today?
A few hours on track, and the session I just had was the first time in damp track and rain, which was pretty treacherous.
Ian, as you know, part of Matt Johnson's prize this weekend from the competition he entered with the Sun was his ARDS training and everything provided through MSV, is that right?
Yes, we took him as a complete novice, and he went through a training course. We have various levels of training course, and he went through that, as I understand it, and then took his test with us, and here he is racing today.
It's pretty incredible. What experience does somebody have to then go through that training?
Well, you don't really. You can take somebody who's never done anything before. I think there is a certain amount of people who have a natural ability, but then people like me just learn how to do it. I had no natural ability. most people these days, they start with track days, and that's what we suggest. You do half a dozen track days so you understand what track driving is about, because it's very different to road driving. And then do a course with us, with MSV. We'll get you bang up to pace, and then go through the yards test.
No pressure, but it's a fairly big grid that you're looking at here, and a lot of experienced drivers.
Pack grid, and particularly in the Lotus Cup Europe race, there's some quick cars in there as well. I have to keep an eye on my rear view mirrors.
Well, we wish you the best of luck.
In front of a very big crowd here at Snetterton this weekend, the cars making their way up onto the grid for the first of 2 Lotus Cup Europe races, with Gavin Kirby and John Walker on the front row, Tom Chataway and Scott Cruikshank row 2, Mark Goodey and Gregory Rassa on the 3rd row of the grid. But with 38 cars starting, it's going to be a very busy circuit indeed, and there are plenty of people lower down the order looking to make progress, for example, and amongst them Harry Steegmans is normally a very rapid driver, so too somebody to keep an eye to is Marcus Nikovic, and Pat McBennett, the Irish driver, only 24th on the grid, and he's somebody else I would have thought that should be making progress before the end. And competition winner Matt Johnson will start 36th out of the 38.
First Lotus Cup Europe race of the weekend is about to get underway, and the top 5 211s are so close in performance. We're expecting a real battle. Gavin Kirby is our poleman, but will he retain pole till the end of the race? Let's go racing.
Gavin Kirby took a win at the Nürburgring in the opening Lotus Cup Europe event. So too did this man, former Caterham champion John Walker. The lights go out, the race gets underway. Walker makes a good start. He gets his nose in front on the run down towards Riches for the first time. But Gavin Kirby in the grey car from pole position trying to brave it out with him on the inside. And in fact, he reclaims the advantage as they go down to the braking area with a very crossed up number 1, Scott Cruikshank there, being edged out over the white line towards the dirt. The car got all leery, he's managed to hang on to it, and he's bagged 2nd place in the process. Really good recovery that. On board now with Philippe Loup in the Bossier competition car as he turns his way from Sear onto the Revit straight and loses out there, because charging round the outside of him is the next of the 211s. Christophe Lissandre that was, who was in great form at the Nürburgring, had to do a huge amount of overtaking after poor qualifying efforts, but Lissandre here going really well as down towards the S's. The race leader, Gavin Kirby, and of course the Brits have got a certain amount of track knowledge here, by way of an advantage over the European opposition, who don't come to Snetterton all that regularly. Tom Chataway from 3rd on the grid, down in 4th at the moment with work to do as the cars accelerate their way through the bomb hole up towards Coram Curve for the first time, and Gavin Kirby having to work really hard now. He's got Scott Cruikshank right up behind him as they turn through the fast right-hander, but Cruikshank looking for a way through. He's on the inside line there. It doesn't quite pay off, or does it? Yes, it does. Gavin Kirby is forced to leave the door open for him, and Cruikshank comes through now to take the advantage. End of lap 1, new race leader, Scott Cruikshank it is, who hits the front. Down to 2nd is Kirby then as they sprint up over the line. Walker is 3rd, Chataway 4th, Mark Goodey is 5th, but Gavin Kirby straight away fights back as they come over the line. He levels with the race leader. He's going to be on the outside though for the next corner. No, he's not, he's going to be ahead. He's got the momentum in a straight line to take the lead. And look, John Walker, number 5, the man that won the other race at the Nürburgring, the other driver that was victorious there being Gavin Kirby, is coming back at the top too. So now it's 3 for the lead. Somebody goes way off onto the grass there, going through Riches. Simon Deacon it is, who's able to rejoin. An experienced Lotus racer these days, but Simon, I'm afraid, making a mistake going off the road as the leaders dive down towards the S's. And for 2nd place, John Walker dives up the inside of Scott Cruikshank's red car there. But the orange 211 in the hands of John Walker is still stuck in 3rd place and under pressure. Mark Goodey right up behind him. The 211s then locking out the leading 5 places at the moment. Tom Chataway there in 5th place in the white car, having dropped back, and there's somebody else going off. Was that Christophe Lissandre possibly in the background running out of road? It was a top 6 lockout indeed for the 211 model, but 1 has just gone rally crossing, and that's going to change the order behind. Scott Cruikshank running wide and then getting the line wrong for Coram Curve. Through goes Walker, and Mark Goodey tries to follow him through as well. Cruikshank then gets elbowed back down to 3rd, but he just hangs on to that place. I thought for a moment he was going to lose out yet further, and Tom Chataway now has closed back up again. Race leaders coming over the line. Number 1 is the reigning champion, Scott Cruikshank, but he's now got right up alongside him Mark Goodey in the orange 211. The two of them go past the pits, absolutely overlapping. For the race lead though, Gavin Kirby has the advantage, but he's not really building much of a gap over John Walker. Now he's up into 2nd place. If anything, that gap may well be coming down. So Walker hunting down the race leader. Up towards Sear Corner they go as Tom Chataway's white 211 tries to gain ground on the inside into the braking area. Did he manage to gain a place? Let's see. On board though with Philippe Loup. Dossier Competition entered. Car out of Sear, uses the curb onto the Revit straight and accelerates off down towards the S's. If he gets a toe here, he might be able to challenge for a place. Moves to the inside, and Philippe Loop now gains ground as Gavin Kirby comes into the S's, and Scott Cruikshank hangs on to his third place. Mark Goodey right there behind him though. Those two nose to tail, and in fifth place Tom Chataway still hanging on by his fingertips, that leading group of cars, although the top two now starting to edge away. Gavin Kirby leads the race, second is John Walker, and they are, despite battling, pulling away from the rest, and this lead battle is going to continue here at Snetterton after the break.